Next up, I'd like to talk about units. A unit is what the number 1 represents. For example, if I said, oh my goodness, I ate 4 for breakfast today, you're going to say, 4 what? 4 eggs is kind of crazy, 4 pancakes is fairly reasonable, 4 turkeys is hard to believe. So most numbers in real life have units. You'll say, oh, $5. So that's the unit, is the dollars. You have 12 feet. Feet is the unit. In physics, you have crazy units. You'll have, 37 meters per second squared, or something like that. Then this whole meters per second squared is the unit. Now, there's one key rule to units, and the rule to units is you can only add and subtract things that have the same unit. If you have 3 apples and you add 5 apples, you're going to end up with, that's right, 8 apples. Now notice, it doesn't change the unit. 3 apples plus 5 apples is 8 apples. Subtraction works exactly the same way. If the units are different, if you have, let's say, 3 apples and you add $5, what do you have? You have 3 apples and $5. You don't have anything more than that. You can't combine them. You don't have 8 of anything. Now the cool thing for this is that it applies to variables just the same. If you have 3a and you add 5a, it's just like that a represents apples. You have 8a. Now it doesn't become a squared, it doesn't change, it's just the same as apples plus apples is apples, a's plus a's is a's, 4x minus 3x is 1x, although this is usually written as just x. We drop the 1 if the coefficient, the number on the front of the variable is called a coefficient. And if you had, 7x squared y plus 5x squared y, if the units are exactly the same, you can add 12x squared y. As soon as you change one thing, one single thing, 7x squared y plus 5xy, whoa, it's like apples and dollars. X squared y's and xy's are not the same, and therefore it's just 7x squared y plus 5xy. Now when you have a large number of these things, so as you can imagine, you'll have things like 5x squared plus 8x plus 2. These things can't be added. This thing is called a polynomial. Poly meaning lots of, and nomial meaning, things. This is a trinomial. It has 3 terms. And if you want to add 5x squared plus 8x plus 2 to x squared plus 7x minus 5, what you do is you combine the ones that you can combine. 5x squared plus, how many x squareds is this? There's an invisible 1 there. So 5x squared plus another x squared is 6x squared. 8x plus 7x is 15x. Not x squared, it's just x. And then 2 minus 5 is like 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. That takes you to -3. Now this enables us to explain the addition and subtraction of large numbers. If you have 287 plus 42, what do we have? What is this? This is, we've talked about the number system. This is 200s plus, why don't I write it out? This is 200s plus 8 tens plus 7 ones, and we're adding to that 4 tens and 2 ones. And the rule for Adding and subtracting, the hundreds and the tens and the ones are acting like units. And what's the rule? The rule is you add things with the same units and not otherwise. So what we can do is we can say this is 2 hundreds plus 8 tens plus 7 ones, and we can add the tens to the tens and the ones to the ones. And 7 ones and 2 ones is 9 ones. And 8 tens and 4 tens, that's 12 tens. But our numbering system, we're not allowed to put any digit down more than 9. So what is 12 tens? That's 10 tens plus 2 tens. And 10 tens is 10 times 10 is 100. And that comes up and adds 100 to the hundreds column. And so then you have 3 hundreds. And if I can squeeze this in, this explains our usual shortcut. We have 287, and we put the 42 like this. Now you can't line it up on the left, you have to line it up on the right. You add ones to ones, tens to tens, hundreds to hundreds. 7 plus 2 is 9, 8 plus 4 is 12. We put the 2 down, we carry the 1. That's exactly what's happening over here. And we get 329. Borrowing with subtraction works quite the same way. If you want to subtract, if you have 127 and you want to subtract, let's say it's 727, and you want to subtract 253, you kind of line things up by columns. We have 700s and 2 tens and 7 ones, and from that we're trying to subtract 200s, and we're subtracting 5 tens, and we're subtracting 3 ones. 7 ones minus 3 ones, that's easy. It's 4 ones. 2 tens minus 5 tens, well, that would be negative 3 tens, but there's no digit to represent negative 3. So what do? We borrow one of the hundreds and leave behind 6 hundreds, and now 100 is 10 tens. And so it becomes 6 hundreds plus 10 tens is the previous 7 tens. Now, 10 tens and 2 tens, the shortcut is to just put a little line right in front of it, 12 tens. And now, 12 tens minus 5 tens is 7 tens, and 600, the 600s that are left minus the 200s is 400s. The shortcut on this would be to say I have 727 minus 253, 7 minus 3 is 4, 2 minus 5 can't be done, turn the 7 into a 6, put a little 1 in front of there, 12 minus 5 is 7, 6 minus 2 is 4, 474. And what makes this work is because of the base 10 numbering system. Each column is 10 more than the one to the right of it. And so if you have 10 in one thing, it becomes 1 in the column to the left. That's what carrying is. In this case, if you take 1 away from a column, it becomes 10 in the one to the right. That's what borrowing is.